Okay, so maybe I will do a small introduction to our guest today, Philip Feng. He's a very old friend of mine from many years ago. And Philip Feng is based in Taiwan and Hong Kong. He's an architect and urban designer. He and his partner founded a design practice called Else Design, and then they do a lot of projects at various sizes, including the urban project, installation, residential, public buildings. He also has won a lot of very honorable prizes in Asia. So yeah, I'm quite happy to have you here today. So the floor is yours, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about yourself. And yeah, we are very curious to hear your project.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. And right now it's almost it's evening time in Taiwan. I'm Philip, and actually I native born in Hong Kong. I educated in Hong Kong in my Chinese U of Hong Kong. And after that, actually I work in Beijing and also work in Basel in Switzerland. So I managed to learn maybe one or two sentences of German, but I already almost forget about that. So, and then 2 years ago, I moved to Taiwan and then teaching here and also practice. And before going to Taiwan, and I used to practice in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. So it's mainly in China. So maybe I believe maybe except Dr. Zhu, maybe most of you never been to Hong Kong, right? I believe. So I hope you will visit Hong Kong very soon. And if anyone come, I can introduce you some very cool things. And I believe you will enjoy the city of Hong Kong. So maybe I'm going to share my screen right now. Yes. Okay. Yes. Hey, just a moment. Can you see my PPT?
We can
Can you see my PPT?
I can
Not
see the screen.
yet.
Yes.
Hey, hey,
Not yet, just the screen.
Not yet. Yeah.
hey. Can you see my PPT, the first page? Or sorry.
No,
Uh,
I see the
hey.
Um,
Just a moment. I'm not familiar with the. Let me see. Let me share again.
okay.
Okay. Share screen, right? Share screen.
Yeah, and then you can select the windows.
Oh, okay. Allow the share screen. Okay. Share entire. Okay. I'm opening the PPT right now. Okay. Can you see my PPT?
Yeah,
we can see it now.
Oh,
great.
okay. So yeah, my topic is called Densified Public Space in Hong Kong. And I believe, of course, this is a very huge topic because I think there's so many interesting public space in Hong Kong. But I would like to select some very interesting example. Maybe I believe most of you, when you talk about the public space, maybe you only think about maybe like a park or maybe like a garden. But I think this is very traditional. It means that the public space, yeah, of course, they can be totally open air or maybe like in a park. But I believe because Hong Kong is very special situation, so the people in Hong Kong always find some very innovative way to how to occupy their public space. So I'm going to introduce some very interesting information. Okay. And Hong Kong is a very small city indeed, but actually it has a 7.5 million people in the middle of the 2025 the statistics, and only within 1,106 kilometers square. I don't know the population in Cologne. Maybe you are less population, but I believe the area may be more or less the same. So it's very. I think Switzerland. Because I used to Swiss in Switzerland before. I think Switzerland got maybe only around 8 or 9 million, but eventually they're the whole country. So imagine all the Switzerland people live in Hong Kong. So you can imagine how density it is. So this is one of the bird eye view in Hong Kong. You can see. We call it the pencil tower. Eventually, all the building they have very small footprint, but in a very tall, so it's like a needle. It's like a pencil. They penetrate into the land. So this is how you see from the sky in some urban area in Hong Kong. So in Hong Kong, eventually in the very south of China, and I think it's there are few cities is very important in South China, including Hong Kong, and on the left-hand side, there's the Macau, and then on the north, actually, they have Guangzhou. So we always call the Pearl River Delta. Eventually, there's a river coming out in between Macau and Hong Kong, and they form like a triangle relationship between these three cities. And these three cities is one of the very most wealthy triangle in the very South China. So Macau also very rich, and also Guangzhou is one of the very important city in South China. Of course, Shenzhen is the north of Hong Kong. So these few cities is very important economic making income for the whole country. So this is the satellite photo of Hong Kong. So if you see the Hong Kong, most of the land in Hong Kong eventually they're non-developed. They're mainly the mountains and the greeneries. So only around 25% of the land actually urbanized. So that's why, I mean, although the land of the Hong Kong is not so small, but eventually only 25% is can be developed. So that's why all the people will be so crowded in those areas. And I think it's maybe I briefly introduce the history of Hong Kong because I think during the end of the Qing Dynasty in China, eventually because the UK actually the China lost the war, we call it Treaty of Nanking, and also Treaty of Peking, and also the finally in 1895 and 1998, and also the Beijing also lend the new territories to the UK. So eventually the UK actually got the whole Hong Kong in free time interval. Eventually, the Hong Kong island you see actually should be permanently given to UK. But when China negotiate the UK side, they want to take back the whole Hong Kong. So eventually, all the part of the Hong Kong returned to China on the 1st of July in 1997. And I think this is a very old map of Hong Kong. Eventually, the Kowloon side is defined by called the boundary street. You see the horizontal line in the map, and this is the boundary between the Kowloon side and also the New Territory side. And so there's a street called the Boundary Street. This is one of the very famous street in Hong Kong too. Um, so I would like to first introduce this very interesting complex in Hong Kong, but already demolished before already. So we call the Kowloon War City. This is used to be like a soldier camping in the Qing Dynasty. But when the Hong Kong hand over to UK, eventually this part become no one's land because I think the land was supposed to be belongs to the Qing Dynasty, but the UK cannot rule it, and Hong Kong cannot rule it, and also the China lose the control of this land. So suddenly this land become like a almost no government state. So that's why all the people go there to build the illegal structure, and finally become a very dense complex. Eventually, so it's not suitable for human to live in. But eventually, so many low-income people and also some illegal doctors would be going there and then stay there to do the business. And demolished in 1993. Right now, if you go there, it's only become a park. So this is how dense it is for this complex. And I think I want to show this because I'm not talking about public space. I just want to show this the human desire or the human needs eventually when they develop something maybe ruinous. So they were something very organic, and even very organic, they try to think about how they use the public space. So this is how it looks from outside. So eventually, everyone try to put a cage house at the facade. Okay, this is the plan. Only the middle part, actually, there's a temple and also there's a paper, there's like a basketball field, and the other parts of the land eventually all filled with the buildings. And I think it's interesting. I think the area of this area only 0.026 kilometer square, but eventually they already accommodate over 50,000 people. So eventually it means that only 4 meters square per people. So in this area, on each people only can occupy 4 meters square. So you can imagine how small it is. And you can see what I want to say is the cage, I mean the building outside the facade, because I think they can extend the kitchen, the toilet outside. and this is very common in the 30 years ago in Hong Kong. But actually, there's some accident because some cage actually fallen down from the building. So I think around 20 years ago, actually the whole Hong Kong already prohibited to do this. So right now, if you go to Hong Kong, also no more like cage house outside the building. And I think in the 1990s, actually, some Japanese scholar and the students went to Hong Kong to survey this Kowloon Wall City. They tried to cut the section and visit all the buildings before it demolished. So these are the drawings they draw. So you can see the quality of the people, okay, how they handle clothes and how they live inside and what they're doing. Actually, they're the real drawings. They are not fake. Actually, they visit every apartment, take the photos, and try to meet the survey drawings. And yeah, this is what I say is that they have so many business. Of course, they have the drugs, and they have the daughters. They have some like illegal meat there, and also so many things. Actually, you can imagine like a gang movie would be happening in this complex. And because I think so many, maybe the gangsters they cannot go to the formal daughters, they will go here. But I think it's very interesting. Even the daughters from China, they can also have a hospital here. So the mix of many funny things happening in this complex. And yeah, the other surveyors doing this. So this is how the children play. Of course, they can only go to the rooftop, and rooftop is very almost nothing. And you can see the rooftop. They also have the like a television, like a signal receiver. So actually, they really in a mess, but actually they enjoy playing on the roof. It's like this. So it's a very super bad condition, of course. But eventually, I mean, this you can see the people still enjoying the sunshine and also the kids playing around. And this is how Hong Kong people, okay, even if they're under very harsh condition, they will try to think about how they enjoy the public space. And there's a movie recently, last year in Hong Kong, is the same name of the Kowloon Wall City. And of course, I mean, they're making about the gangsters, the story about the gangsters, the fighting and also doing bad business. And eventually, they make a one-to-one the real building of this complex because they got all photos, and they make the one-to-one in China to film this movie. I think it's a very good movie, but it's made by Hong Kong directors. And I would say in Hong Kong, actually, the people, because we used to be staying a very dense context and also very limited land resources. So eventually, we can find many where people, I mean, how they use the space. For example, this like a kiosk. They're selling the noodles, the dumplings, but the people will sit on a very narrow seat and they only maybe 40 centimeters wide, and then to eat the noodles and go because I think they don't have the rent to make a very big restaurant. So the complexity and also the density and also the compact the usage is very common that you can find in Hong Kong. And I want to first introduce how they, I mean, some of very interesting public space example in the Hong Kong public housing. I think in Hong Kong, I think almost 40% of the people, or almost half of the people in Hong Kong, they're living in the public housing built by the government because I think they're very cheap rent. And this the plan evolved from the left top corner in 70s and until the right now the bottom right hand corner maybe in right now up to date one. So they have so many revolutions about this public housing. But I'm not going to talk about the housing. I'm talking about how they use this public space in this housing. So this is also the floor plan they evolved in Hong Kong from almost 50 years. And for example, I mean this twin tower. Actually, I when I was young and I stayed with my family in this such similar public housing for almost maybe 18 years before to move my parents, they bought a new house. So I think this is like a two rings of buildings, and they have a big in the middle. There's a courtyard, so we can see actually the corridor. I mean in the middle, and then the small apartment maybe only around 40 meters square for each unit, and the area view is like this. So they're very Bauhaus or very like modernism. I think they're quite beautiful. Of course, they don't have many features. Very simple enough. And this is how the people using the public space in the courtyard. This is in China we call it the Mid Autumn Festival. So the people will try to play around the lantern. Okay, the lantern with the candles, and then the children play around this in the Mid Autumn Festival. And they try to hang the cable and also all the lantern in this middle public space. And of course, the kid will run around this the corridor. And I really like it because I think this is a yeah, I mean they have to spend a lot of time to build this cable and hanging the thing, and the whole things actually make the space become very meaningful, especially in this festival. And then in the bottom of the courtyard, of course, they will have the gathering here. So I mean, the size of this square may be only around 30 meters by 30 meters, very small one. But eventually, they become like a very central gathering space for all the people you can enjoy a meal here in a very under a very tall ceiling. You can imagine the building maybe around 24 floor height, 20 floors, maybe around maybe 70 meters high, and you are sitting in the middle of the 70 meters high the courtyard and to enjoy the meal. So it's very special. I also enjoyed the meal a few times in this kind of the courtyard. It's very unique experience, I think. And if you see the section, I think interesting because I think the ground floor of this building, there are no shops because I think the government public housing, they don't do commercial here. So the ground floor totally empty. So maybe they have on the left hand side, they have the ping pong tables, and also in the middle, they can have host a festival. And if you see the section, I think actually the public space also some undercover and some they're open. And then from the second floor, they become the living unit. So they're really mixing the life of the people and also the public space event together. And there's so many interesting like a tower type. This is one of the very one unique type in Hong Kong. So this is in circular. So I think the architect make the courtyard in the circular. So this is the middle courtyard space looks like. Yeah, and also if you're looking the sky, they're very interesting. I think so many movies take the screens here. So I would say this is a not a formal public space, but I would say become uh, like a seasonal or like a from time to time there's something happening in this courtyard. Yeah, this is a floor plan how it looks like. I think compared to the previous one, I think the unit plan they are not so square. So eventually, the living room of this kind of the unit would be very difficult. They cannot be totally rectangular. So only the bedroom can be rectangular, but the living room maybe in like a diamond shape, what they call. And the other type of the public housing, they try to flip the corridor to outside. So the previous one, actually, the corridor always in the inside. So this one is on the outside. So even they're on the outside, I think they also form kind of public space for the gathering of the people. So for example, when there's a festival on the ground floor, actually the people would stand at the corridor to enjoy the show. So actually, not only the ground floor people enjoy, actually the people upper can become also participate in this kind of the events. So this is how they look up the show. Of course, in the festival, Chinese New Year or the Mid Autumn, also try to hang the lantern on that. I think it's a normally. I think the public housing is a each housing maybe they accommodate up to maybe 5,000 or some even up to 10,000 people. They're very strong community and also big bonding. So eventually, I think the festival and the thing try to link them up because most of them actually they're from very low income family. And this is we call the Fire Dragon Festival in Hong Kong. So this is they're using like a sense and then also to light up and also to form a shape of the dragon. And the dragon will be driving, dancing at the road. And the other interesting public space in Hong Kong, this is one is in Causeway Bay. We call it the Valiant Heating, one of the one and only one special events in Hong Kong. And this is what the setting, okay? They have like a very small corner. So each corner they will have a statue there from China, of course, maybe like a Buddha or some tiles, the statues. And then each one actually they would sit down and ask you, okay, do you have some people you don't like? And then they will try to use the slipper to really to hit the name of the people you don't like on the paper. So there's something like this. Okay, so you tell them, okay, the people who you don't like, and then you sit down, and then on a seat, and they will do like this. Can you see the lady? So the lady try to use the shoe, and then on the paper write down the people you don't like, and they hit the paper by the shoe. So maybe hitting only 2 minutes or something, and then you feel comfortable on that. So this is a very long tradition of the of course, this is not scientific, but eventually people will believe that, okay, after this, the people you don't like, they will be gone from you, or maybe will be like you again. Okay, so this is how they believe. So this space become government approved it. Actually, they can set up the shops here and become one of the very most visited the tourism coming here to see, even from China or from the foreign countries. They would love to see this space. So it is very crowded in every weekend, or maybe also even in the weekdays. And it's very cheap. I think it's only 50 Hong Kong dollar. Maybe they are much more expensive right now. So yeah, they also have also the foreign language to say what they're doing. And the other very interesting public space I would say is this is in the HSBC Bank Hong Kong. Actually, the bank is by Norman Foster. It's built in 1984, I think, complete 1984, and it's a very high-tech bank in the center of the Hong Kong island. And eventually, the building is very nice. I think they're very actually all the structure actually they're taken like a module system. Eventually, the structure is like a skeleton. Actually, they hold up all the small space, so actually the structure can be demolished again and rebuilt anywhere they like. But eventually, also because of the level difference on the ground floor, so eventually Norman Foster make a totally open air space in the ground floor. I mean, the entry of the building only on the second floor. So if you see the section, they're like this. Because of two side of the road difference, so they make a like a gentle slope, and then all people have to go the escalator to the second floor before they enter the building. But eventually, this space is very beautiful. I mean, in the normal working days, I think the like office people would be using here. So, but in the weekend, okay, on the Sunday, because all the Philippines workers, I mean, they have a official holiday every week for one day. So on the Sunday, all the Philippine workers in this Hong Kong Island or the Kowloon side, they will come here to sit down to enjoy a picnic here. They will bring the food, bring the drinks here and sit down. And at the beginning, okay, we all think about the HSBC would try to get them out because I think the land belongs to the bank. But eventually, the bank is very generous to let them to stay in this space. So we can see the contrast is a very daily life using, and also under a very high tech building in Hong Kong. So this is how they works. Okay, so you can see, oh, they have the cloth and also the paper, and then they have paid the cards, and suddenly it's become turn the space become a very daily life scenery. And even some of them will bring along tents. Okay, they will bring along the tents and they will sit for half day there. Or some of them actually they even using the paper. You can see the paper box, and they try to yeah refigurate the paper box and become like a sitting area. I think it's very clever because I think the paper box actually they define the territory of where they sit. It's like this. I think it's very cheap and very effective when they define the own usage. This is on the bridge, okay? They also, besides is sitting below the HSBC Bank, actually they scatter around all the central is the area in Hong Kong. So they also set around the bridge and also the road. And the other few example I want to say is there's a project called the Hong Kong Micro Park, and it's initiated by Design Trust in Hong Kong. Design Trust is like a foundation actually promoting the Hong Kong creative industry. And this Design Trust eventually they try to negotiate with the government to take out some park and then renovate by some very young architect. For example, this one is in Mong Kok. I think this is a Portland Street Garden. And because I think for the regulation of the urban planning, eventually each part of the Hong Kong, they have to reserve some space totally open. Even in the old district or even a very compact area, they need to take out some space only totally public for the people. So this part is, you can see they're surrounded by all the density building, and then yeah, maybe the daylight is not so good and condition is so-so, but they need to be that park there. And that's why the researchers want to rethink about the park. Okay, this one is called the Pink Park, and they try to Of course, the idea very simple. They try to lighten. We decide the park into some very sharp colors, and also try to redefine the furniture. And they always invite the very young designers to involve, and also they have a mentorship with them. Maybe a senior designer will work with them. And this is the part. Okay, we all of the pink. Of course, I think they're not very big concept. Okay, they're just like we develop the colors, also make a very fresh feeling. Yeah, but I think for the community, they're very good because I think the buildings behind it looks very old already. So suddenly it's a very big contrast between these two kind of the environment. Yeah, and also the rubbish can. And the other one is interesting too. I think this is underneath a flyover in Hong Kong in the Hill Road on the Hong Kong Island side. I think the designer tried to also use the lighting fixture and also the sitting object they mix together. So they create like a dancing lighting. So I think it's very creative and also give the sense of the movement and the motion in this area. So they try to make it like a metal structure, and the metal structure is holding the lighting, and then the big bulk of the plant pots they become like a sitting area for the people. Yeah, because I think normally the flyover area they're not so enough indirect lighting or the lighting, so the lighting fixture in one way actually they create very fresh and also the emotional atmosphere in this area. And the other one is also in the Kowloon side. This one is actually in between two very long residential building in Hong Kong. And eventually you see the left-hand side is before the renovation. Actually, this is a part of the road. And the park tried to close the road and become like a public park. I think this is very good because I think you can see the road actually, they only with the motorcycle and also the very bad design, the plantings. Like on the right-hand side, they try to run away into very colorful, the paving, and also stop the car going into this area. So eventually, I think it's very interesting because if they stop the vehicle going in, they can also generate a more pleasant walking environment. And this seen from the top. And funny, this is you can see except the park. Eventually, this is also you can see the rooftop can be occupied by the people. They're not only hanging the clothes, but eventually also have become a playground. And so that's why the ground area can be updated and become like another level of the public space. And of course, they also integrated with some objects and also the play tools there for children to climb up. And of course, I mean, in Hong Kong, the safe to be hurt, so there will be some soft landing, the carpet, and also will be caged. Some space will be caged so they won't fall out from the spaces. And also interesting because I think the park also integrated with the daily life of the people. So you can see the shop is still running and they are not only like an open space. And the other one also even more interesting. I think this called Hamilton Street Rest Garden, also in Kowloon side. Eventually, what the architect do actually, they make a very big table. So eventually they say, okay, all the people sitting on the same table, but at the same time they can still enjoy the privacy because the table is very big. So eventually you don't feel disturbed by the people opposite to you. So this make it like a very simple concrete table and with different like a shapes of the like a planters or like a shapes of the city. And I would like to introduce maybe two small projects I make in Hong Kong. Of course, they are not they are public space and also but temporary. This is one that is happening in the Wan Chai in the Hong Kong Island. Eventually, this is the space is like a harborfront space, and then the theme is like a festival, and they invite five designers to make a maze, and then each of them you have to think about how to make a maze. So for my project, actually, I'm thinking about how to make a maze in the public space. At the beginning, I'm thinking about how to use many curved mirror and also become multiple rooms so people can walk in and walk out and they enjoy the distorted reflection of the image. And I think the maze is very important because I think this is in between the city and also in between the harbor area. So eventually the maze itself also can be seeing the city, and the city become the background of the maze too. And this the final outcome I make. So the design is around 10 by 50 meters. And then yeah, I make so many rooms inside the maze, and then all the material only the mirror. So this is how it looks like from outside. And I think the children enjoy so much because I think when they get in, of course, they can see the image, but also the high-rise building at the background also become the interior. So actually, they're multi-reflecting the city into the maze. Um, Yeah, I think instead of making, because normally the maze is made by the path, but I think at the beginning of the design, I try to think about the maze can be by the rooms. So eventually I make some small rooms, and then all the rooms with different size orientation, and they put together and become like a maze. So the maze is very simple logic in this concept. And this the model, and this the section. I would like to show you maybe a video about oh, okay, sorry. I think the video very short. I will show another one, this one. I think if you look at the video carefully, I think they have a you can see the people actually they have different interpretation of the mirror. Okay, some are running, some are seeing the image of herself or himself, or some are running. So this is interesting because I think everyone interpret the space in their own ways. I think this is maybe one of the very important the roles of public space, because I think you can define what they do, but also you can come expectation or surprise what they can do in this space. Another installation public works of mine is called the Waving Bamboo Pavilion. Also finished in this year in the summertime. It's a temporary pavilion. And you can see in Hong Kong, there's so many bamboo scaffolding like this. I mean, they may be the outside the building and be used for renovation or construction. But they use very low tech because I think they don't use steel structure, but they use the bamboo structure because I think the Hong Kong eventually you always maybe have a typhoon. Although Hong Kong we don't have earthquake, but you have typhoon. So bamboo is very good for typhoon when the wind comes. Actually, they can still very stable. They can absorb the wind load. And then the design concept, and I'm thinking about how I want to use the bamboo to create like a forest underneath the same roof. So at the beginning, I'm
Sorry
thinking
for
about,
interruption, Philip.
hey,
We cannot see your PPT of the bamboo
hey,
pavilion
hey,
because
hey,
we
sorry,
can
sorry.
only see the video of the mirror.
Oh, oh, sorry, sorry. I just, yeah, already closed it already. Just a moment. Hey,
Mm.
uh, hey. Just a moment. Right now, can you see my PPT?
No, we see
Hey?
the video.
Oh, we still see the video. Yeah.
Okay. Just a moment. Just a moment. Oh. Why? Let me.
Now we see it.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I
you.
back to one slide. Okay, the other. Can you see the PPT right now? Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Okay,
see the PPT.
Okay. Yeah, and then the second installation is like a bamboo pavilion. I think the festival they also use the bamboo, and the bamboo is very commonly used in Hong Kong for the scaffolding. Okay. And then the concept is we want to create I want to create like a bamboo forest, but underneath the same roof. And that's why you can feel underneath like a building or in between like a nature. Yeah. So the idea of mine is try to use the bamboo to support like a horizontal element. So I at the beginning I try many sketches and how try to use the randomness of the bamboo and create like a labyrinth or also like a maze in this project. Yeah, and then of course I think for the structural stable we need some bracing. So at the finally I think we try to use like a double layers of the bamboo on the top and also the very thin columns for the spaces. And this is how it looks like in the model. So it's like the dimension also around 10 by 10 meters. It's not a very big building. And this is the final outcome of the building. And also I also have a concept called the waving because I want to feel the wind blows. So eventually I also hang some rods underneath the structure, and then the wind blows, they can feel the changes. And of course, I think I would say this concept rather like putting like a vertical scaffolding become horizontal. So eventually, I think we are creating a space by the normal daily life what we can see in Hong Kong. Yeah. So this the rod. Of course, it's due to the many issues of the budget and the thing happening is that become like they're not very nice, but I think the good point is about the bamboo because I think not all the bamboo they're unique. Okay, the shape they're unique. That's why you can see they're not repeating themselves. So that's why even the craftsmanship may not be so good, but you can feel the tectonics of the bamboo and the spaces. Okay. And this the space, and then I actually so funny that when the pavilion is open, I can see the kids who playing the bicycle or making like a small football here. So eventually the openness of the pavilion allow them to enjoy the spaces. Okay. Yeah, that would be the things I want to share, and this is my IG and the website, and I hope you can look into my works later. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. That's
Thank
very
you.
inspiring sharing of various projects of yourself. I especially like both. Actually, I like both the mural installation and the bamboo structure. And probably this bamboo structure, you can also invite the local citizens, right, to participate to construct, because bamboo it's very easy for to construct, and
Yes.
it's light as well. And I can see potential of this material to create an activity within the community.
Yeah, that's true. Bamboo is very cheap, and also this project actually we asked a local worker. Actually, this local worker used to be making the scaffolding, and then this is how they construct. So not by building contractor, just by the bamboo workers. Yeah, on the work on.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to ask if the students have any questions or comments that they would like to share. I'm sure they're quite yeah, it's something that we don't really see very often in the Western country. That's, you know, the Hong Kong is a very unique, yeah, a spatial, very unique area for the spatial quality. And it's also very mix of different dynamic culture, different people, a different income level. And there's a lot of dynamic, but also you see the harmony within the public space. So for me, it's a very refreshing idea to see how this public space, and we also mentioned the third space a lot with the student, which is not a workspace, which is not the living space, but the third one that is extending beyond living and the working space. So now I would like welcome the students to ask some questions, if you have any. Hello, Sivi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sivi is one of our teachers and the main coordinator of the project.
From France.
Okay, nice to meet you. Yeah,
Nice to
from
meet you
France.
too. Very interesting, very interesting. So I was thinking about the collaborative way to make something with the citizens. So as far as you know, the bamboo experimentation gave sense to any else experimentation. Did the citizen participated to the making of the places?
Yes. We invite a very local bamboo workers, and actually they have a team, and the team is of course their citizens, but yeah, there are also some people interested to, maybe totally around maybe 6 or 7 people who build this. So yes, they also assist part of the pavilion building. Yes.
Thank you.
Have you been to Hong Kong? Have you been? Anyone been to Hong Kong in this group?
Never.
Yes.
I've never been. Very interesting.
Yeah, I have been to Hong Kong last year, but I didn't spend a lot of time. I just spent one day there, and
okay.
yeah, and it was very impressive to see all this kind of different structure there, and I really liked it because there's some like old structures and modern structures, so I really liked the combination of both.
Yeah. I think Hong Kong is maybe one and only one city actually they merged the Western and the Eastern culture together. Because I think that actually in Hong Kong you can find both at the same time, the East and the West culture. They mix quite well. So eventually I hope you can come again and I can send you some interesting thing. Yeah, you will enjoy that. Yeah.
Actually, in the post, in the chat, we have some questions for Philip, so I can read it out. When did Filipino workers start gathering to eat, relax, and set up temporary seatings or tent in the public space around the HSBC building in Hong Kong begin? So when did this scenario start? And since Hong Kong locals might not have welcomed it at first, how did these workers come to use this public space as a regular gathering? So what's the reaction of the locals? How do they see it? How do they accept?
I think the Philippine workers, I think this happening maybe around 20 years ago. I have to check the exact year. I think around 20 years ago, they tried to do this every Sunday because Sunday is the official holiday in this in their workers the schedule. So I think at the beginning, yes, there are some people in Hong Kong they try to say, oh, I don't like it. I think, but I think actually after the police, I think they negotiate with the Philippine groups, and then they try to say, okay, yeah, if you want to use the public space like this, several rules, like make it clean every time you use it. For example, when they finish the end of the day, though they have to clean up the space as the original. And secondly, of course, the police also would be checking their what they do. So eventually, after a few years, they become regular thing happening every Sunday. And I think also we accept that because I think these people are very, how to say, actually they're very tough because I think they earn the money in Hong Kong. Maybe they can only back to home in Philippines only once a year. I mean for the regulation. So eventually they have to group together to find the sense of the homecoming in Hong Kong. So that's why I think the people accept this kind of the use of the public space for them. Yeah. Mm.
I also noticed most of these Filipino workers, they are females. And
Yes, of course,
because
yeah.
the majority of their job are from the
The whole
domestic
the domestic, yeah, domestic,
helpers.
the housekeeper, yeah.
Mhm.
They will stay with the owner too, because I also have classmates who hire these Philippine workers. You have to reserve a bedroom for her to stay, and also you have to pay them maybe a ticket per year to back to their home. And funny thing, because I think the income in Philippines they're very low. Eventually, what they earn in Hong Kong actually is like 2 times what they can earn in the Philippines. So that's why they enjoy working in Hong Kong because they can earn much money and then they can back home and do some small business there. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we can see they extended their private space into the public space because their
Yes.
private space is very limited
Yes.
in
Yes.
in their home. But
Yeah.
they feel comfortable and other people feel comfortable. That's a very
Mm.
unique third place. Yeah, and it's quite it's working quite well, obviously.
Yeah.
If it lasts more
Yes.
than 20 years, that means it
Yes.
becomes a norm for
Yeah.
the locals.
Yes.
And another question is, in such dense public housing estates, what are the relationships typically like between the neighbors? Are there any
Mm.
specific community activities help to build these relationships among the neighbors, or are there any authorities, let's say, within the community that help to facilitate the relationship?
Yeah, I just say before I grew up in this kind of the public housing in Hong Kong. I stayed there for maybe 18 years before I grow up back to go to the school. And then I think it compared to the right now, the modern housing, I mean, maybe only a very compact corridor and also with the elevator in the middle. So I think that time we have much more good relationship between the neighborhood because I think we share the corridor together and then almost every children will stay in the same school. So eventually the parents, including my parents with the neighborhood, they're very good relationship. And also because I think they would play mahjong in this corridor area, also playing cards. And I think no one force us because I think not by authority, because we enjoy actually we know that we are living in the same building in the neighborhood and we have to keep also the public space clean and also tidy in many ways. And they're not by any authority or the government body to push us. I think the natural because I think also that time we don't have the mobile phone, right? That's why you know I'm serious because that time we don't have mobile phone, so we have to spend much more time talking with the people. But right now, actually, everyone talk with the people by the mobile phone, so you are losing the real contact of the neighborhood. And this also because I think the society changing. Yeah, this is how it works. Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Any other questions you might have? Sylvie, you're muted.
Yes, I
Okay,
tried to,
sorry.
I was on mute. Do you think that the technologies are going to change the relationship? Because you were talking about the mobiles and the new technologies, for example, QR codes or even autonomous cars are going to
Mm.
change the city. And where are you at that moment in Hong Kong?
I'm in Taiwan. Because
Taiwan.
yeah, Taiwan. Yeah. Of course, I believe we would change it because I just see a news today. Actually, a Japanese lady married to an AI man, and then she created in the ChatGPT. So I think maybe yeah, right now maybe in sooner or later we don't need to talk to anybody. We talk to AI, and AI will give you many interesting things. So I think yeah, of course it changed the way we live and changed the way of the human interaction. But I believe but architecture still will be exist because I think actually we as a human body we always need the spaces and the sensation. So I believe actually the two ways actually they're in parallel. On one way, we rely on the AI to solve many issues, but on the other way, we also try to search for real experience. So this is like, okay, right now we have so many online books and also the digital library, but the library still exists. Okay, the bookshop still exists because we need to smell the books. It's also like you can see the photo of Venice easily, but you still travel to Venice, right? So this is because the human being, we need the real experience. So I believe this is in a two parallel lines. But I suggest is don't rely on so much on digital because I think we have to switch between digital and the real human experience. That's why we make us a human, right? Yeah.
Very well
Not
said.
transhumanism. Thank you. Thank you very much for answering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a final question because I know, Philip, you're also teaching architecture students in
Yeah.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Are some of these projects involve the students to participate in the design process? And if they are actively participate in the design, what do you think the learning outcome? What are the benefits for the students from this real project learning process? And what do they do exactly? How do they do the research? And how do they talk to the, let's say, the users or other stakeholders for the research phase and during the design phase? How do they develop? Can you share some of this experience with your students?
I believe because I educated in Hong Kong, also the Taiwan system, actually they're very close to the Western system of the teaching. I think it's at the beginning of the project, we do the research. For example, actually, I bring the student to a Hong Kong project before 2 years ago. It's like a high-rise building. So eventually we of course we went to Hong Kong for the site studies and they documented the sites, like the photo and also there's some interview of the people. And of course, we also visit some projects and see, okay, how the people make their high rise. And then after that, actually, we go back to Taiwan and actually study, we call the typology, actually. I think typology is very, very important in architectural learning. We study, okay, how to analyze the building in a very systematic way, okay? So, okay, the structure system and also the spatial system. And then after all this, and they will try to start with the concept. So what I mean is at the beginning of the project, maybe the whole semester, maybe 4 months in one, roughly 4 months, or maybe 3.5 months. And we almost spend 1 month on the research. So we almost spend 3 or 4 weeks, including the case study and the research, and before we start the project. So we just don't get up the concept by the computer Rhino model. So I think this, of course, we need to use that later. But eventually, I think it's because I think we want to make the project very site specific. I think every architecture is unique because I think they're site specific. Okay, in Hong Kong, there should be something related to Hong Kong. So we cannot only make a McDonald's that everywhere more or less the same. So that's why the student have to really pay attention to the local context and also the information they can gather. And of course, I will ask them, okay, after getting all this information, so what you use to start your concept? Because I think you don't need to use all of them. Maybe you just use one or two things that makes you feel inspired and it become the concept and they also can be very good building. But the sensitivity and also observation ability is very important for every architects and also for the students. That's why, yeah, this is cannot be taught. I think can only learn by the student himself or herself. You can really feel the things on the side. And of course, I also ask them to get more hobbies for the student. Okay, of course, reading books is one of them, but you should also go out for the movies. Okay, seeing exhibition. You can always get inspired from the outside. I mean, the things. Yeah, this is become a very integrated people and also knowledge people on that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks again. It's a very rich lecture we have today, and hopefully we can have you again in the future, sharing other new projects.
Yeah, I never been to Cologne. I really to visit one day. I think I only visit maybe in Germany, only in Berlin or in a few cities, but never been to Cologne. I wish I can visit one day. Yeah, to see the amazing architecture. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have many teachers and students from Paris, from Venice, and from Switzerland, yeah, Portugal. So yeah, so actually we're quite spread out team, and we do this a blended intensive course. So we also communicate online, but it's also nice that we already met in person for 1 week to know each other well before we continue collaboration online. Okay.
Yes. I think I leave my email, and if any of you have
Great.
some question, you can email me. I can send you some very good tips in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Thank you again. Yeah, hope to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
up
and
with
hope you
you.
also see you in Taiwan and Hong Kong later. Okay. Welcome all of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.